Hello, everybody, and welcome to the My BFF Business Leaders Podcast. This podcast is designed to focus the spotlight on leading voices throughout the world of business. From marketing and technology to energy and finance, this podcast will feature brilliant minds that are shaping the future of every industry. There has never been a better time to make more business friends forever, so let's get started.
The beard oil and the beard balm are the first two products that we launched way back when. And it's our recipe. We came up with it. We designed it. So we've kept with those recipes the entire way. And I think that's what keeps us on the map. And I think that's what keeps our clients coming back, because they know we're not going to sell out to a cheaper carrier oil or this or that just to make more money. So I think those are our most popular products because they're our oldest.
On this episode of the My BFF Business Leaders Podcast, we are joined by not one, but two leading minds that are shaping their respective industry. Please welcome Sealand and Jason Hall, the founders of Mad Viking Beard Company. Mad Viking is a place dedicated to all things Viking and beard. These entrepreneurs started this brand from scratch, and today it is a multi-million-dollar company that is continuing to rapidly grow. The brand's expansion has now led to the creation of Brutality Coffee, as well as other endeavors in the alcohol and food industry. Have you ever wondered what it's like inside of the mind of a Viking leader? Well, luckily for you, today you get to find out for yourself. Where did the name Mad Viking Beard Company come from?
It just kind of came from my great-grandfather. I played baseball back in the 20s and 30s. Got recruited by the Pirates and the Yankees back in the day. That's kind of the name that they gave to him, kind of his nickname. On and off the field. So I got that name. I think he started telling me stories when I was like 9 or 10. I used to go over, we'd play catch. He showed me how to throw a curveball. I used to be a pitcher myself. And, he just told me all the stories from back in the day. And I just kind of remembered, his nickname because it was so unique, and just kind of brought it with me, and decided that would make a great name for a beard company.
Awesome. Yeah. So how did you guys first get into developing and starting a company devoted to men's beards and grooming products?
Straight through charity. We kind of had a party. Was that 2013? August 2013, I think it was. We had a party. A bunch of us got together. We decided, to grow our facial hair out for, October, November, whatever. And we decided to shave the very next day after the party. And I'll meet up about 6 months later, the local VFW. And we never made it to the VFW. It turned into a giant event. We had to move the location to a bigger venue with a stage. We had probably about a couple hundred people there for our first competition. Bunch of competitors. We had bands play, everything like that. Raised about $1,500 for Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh.
That's awesome.
We knew that there were products at the time, and we just decided, we started using them from other companies. We just took it from there. We just kind of decided to make the stuff on our own, and that's kind of how the business came about, just out of that event, not a charity itself,
Yeah, that's really awesome. And so from the event side of things, like you said that it was a competition. What did the competition itself entail? Like who could grow the best beard or the longest or the fat? What kind of could you delve into that more?
Well, there's in a beard competition, they're obviously ultra super serious events. Bunch of people get together. There's a bunch of different categories. Everything from goatee to mustache to full beard to styled beard to we have now at our own events we have whiskerinas, girls that create fake beards so they can compete. We have children's categories. Normally we have a panel of judges, and the winner gets a prize, whatever. But all the beard competitions, every one of them's all charity based, and that's all over the country. So all of your money donated or your entry fees and all that, it all goes to charity anyhow. So It's all about just getting together and having a good time and helping some people out. So that's what those are.
Awesome. And so in those events now, obviously you said they were back in 2013. Fast forwarding to today, are you guys still kind of a local entity for those events, or have they expanded under the Mad Viking brand name to elsewhere across the country?
We have clubs all over the world, so they kind of have their own events. Um, there's been a few beard comps that they've put on themselves, but we try to keep the beard comp aspect kind of right here at home, and everybody travels here from all over the world now. It's kind of tough this year because of COVID and everything, but you know, in the past, like last year, we had people come from the UK, Ireland, New Zealand, all over the United States. So, yeah, people come from all over. As far as other clubs having events, they do it all the time. Local charity events. That's basically why we set up our beard clubs.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you touched on earlier that like it was a group of friends that first started this first event. So who kind of makes up your team today, or the leadership team of sorts for the brand and company?
There are exactly four of us that make up the leadership team on the business side. It's both of us, me and Jay, and then our wives. Pretty much run the entire show, and we're 100% hands-on with every aspect of it. We have other people that come in and help us out and do a lot for us, no doubt. But as far as the leadership role, it's definitely the four of us.
Mm-hmm. And what would your guys' kind of day-to-day roles look like, the four of you, if you don't mind kind of diving deeper into that?
It varies every day. It starts out with a good cup of coffee in the morning from our brutality side. We go through emails, do marketing. I mean, you name it, we're kind of in there. Jay will be found most mornings, some afternoons, roasting coffee, helping me out with some of the marketing, the website stuff. The girls are usually shipping, customer service. I mean, every day is kind of different, but that's what most days entail.
That's what we try to do.
Right.
We try to follow a path, but
yeah. And on the marketing side, it's obviously anybody that visits your guys' site, it's pretty apparent that you have a massive following on social media. Has that always been kind of the key vehicle to reach and engage with your customers? Has Instagram always been like your core focus in that regard?
Not so much. Starting out, it was just kind of a grassroots movement through what we were doing with the company. And it kind of people have found it through advertising, but we've only really started advertising in the last year. So, I mean, we've been going about 7 years strong now, and we've only really started heavily advertising in the last year.
Wow.
So a lot of it, people just found by word of mouth, or through their friends and stuff like that.
That's extremely impressive to obviously grow so much so quickly without doing any sort of kind of paid promotional efforts. Has there been any sort of kind of specific things that you'd be able to dive into a little bit more for our audience of like success that you've seen in that regard? Like I know you said word of mouth, but has that come from like the event side of things, or has that come more from the coffee products, or anything that you'd be willing to provide insights with there?
I don't know. The Facebook advertising and all that stuff it's obviously insanely important, and we're realizing how important all that stuff can be now. But it's as far as the word of mouth and everything like that, we always just considered being present constantly as our biggest asset and our business, our biggest success when it comes to any kind of advertising or marketing. When we set out on this path, it was honestly just to be together as a unit and have fun. And it's kind of evolved from that, where we still incorporate that largely into our marketing and our advertising and all of that. So I think that's our biggest success story, is just being able to be present constantly like that, even though it's not all through just paid advertising.
Right. I think our biggest weapon as business owners, I mean, you got to have so many, weapons in your arsenal, but I think ours truly boils down to, being true to ourselves and being persistent. I mean, we don't give up. We've never gave up. We've had some really hard times starting out. We surpassed everything, you know, that we ran into trouble-wise. But yeah, I think that's our biggest assets as far as business owners at this point, right?
If you don't, I think that's a really strong point that I'd like to ask more about, because our audience is always kind of into to how successful business owners kind of overcome that adversity. So could you dive into a little bit more of the challenges that you faced when you first started out and kind of how you overcame them?
Well, we started at zero. Sometimes we joke around and say less than zero. We literally came together with a couple $100 a piece and started this and turned it into a multi-million-dollar business every year. So, that's not easy to do. It's not for the lighthearted. It's for people that are persistent and do want to lay it all on the line and go after it. That's the only way you can do it. If you're starting at zero and you're not 1,000 million billion trillion, is that how Joe Biden says it? Anyway, come on, man. But all humor aside, no, you just got to be really persistent. Got to lay it all on the line and be willing to lose it all.
Yeah, we joke and call it the iron gut syndrome for sure. You definitely, there's no, like all that stuff Jay says is 100% true. There's times when we just are sick to our stomachs about the decisions we had to make, but now we call it the iron gut. Now we see the adversity and we just plow through it, and that's all there is to it.
And how long would you guys say that it fully took to develop the system that you have in place today? Because I know you said 2013 is when the start, but did you see a rapid growth kind of a couple years after that, or what was timing like?
Growth is, it's been really weird because we expected, well, at first we didn't know what to expect. We just came in with the idea, hey, we're going to do this for a few years. We're going to throw everything we make back into the business, and we're going to hold our side jobs, and we're just going to cross our fingers, hope for the best. And that's kind of what we did. And it worked out. You have to, when you start at zero, you have to throw everything back into it. And if you can't do that, it's just not going to be a success. I mean, the money has to come from somewhere. The hours worked have to come from somewhere. If you can't give that up and invest that, it's just not going to work.
Mm-hmm. And shifting gears to kind of the money side and the products, do you guys manufacture your own products as well, or simply market them? And kind of what's the breakup there on one side over the other?
Yeah, we market everything. Like now, I do have a marketing team working with me off-site that helps me out with strategy and stuff like that on Facebook, Amazon, Google. As far as production of everything, we do everything top to bottom in-house.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's literally 100% us. Like Jay said, now we have that marketing team now, but everything from the website and the advertising, that all comes from Jay. He's a design master, and he's fantastic with his design work and stuff, and that's all him. And the production side is 100% the girls. They're in here constantly producing, doing quality checks, helping come up with new products. I mean, it's 100% us. We do it's 16, 18, 20 hours a day in holiday season, easy. So yeah, everything's 100% us.
That's awesome to hear. And yeah, and I know obviously it can be incredibly taxing no matter what the time period is, but we're recording this kind of right in the middle of COVID. We touched on it earlier. Have you guys had to adjust abruptly in any way from those aspects, the marketing or the development side of the business because of the circumstances?
No, it really hasn't affected these two businesses that we have at all negatively. Mm-hmm. The people that come help us out, our warehouse is brand new, clean. It's not a public space, so we kind of don't have to adhere to all the restrictions and the rules that are commonplace for more public spaces. So yeah, really it hasn't affected us at all. Maybe on the ability to get, certain ingredients or certain products, that we need to create a lot of the stuff. It's affected that negatively in some aspects, but other than that, we've been largely unaffected.
And I think the only shift in marketing that we had was we just went way more aggressive. We saw a lot of our competitors dial it down because they were afraid of what they were going to go through, and we just went the opposite way. We just got super aggressive with everything.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you guys definitely took the right approach. And obviously, with how successful you've been, it's blatantly apparent. And would you say that kind of your customers fit into a particular like cultural subset, such as bikers, hunters, car guys, or it kind of does your clientele defy the stereotypes often associated with guys with longer hair and beards?
Well, as a marketer, I would like to say, oh, I got it dialed in. I know exactly, and I can just like fire my marketing missile over and land on a bunch of guys that I think, is going to buy the product, but it legitimately does not work that way. Mm-hmm. We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have guys that work in mills, we have hunters, we have actors, musicians, motorcycle guys, car guys. It's kind of all walks of life. Something that we really didn't expect. The only thing we can really dial down is kind of the age group, and even that's wide. The 25 to 65-year-old man for beard products. That's kind of where we land. That's our demo. So it almost covers everybody. That's a lot of breathing. That can grow a beard.
Absolutely. And of your audience, do you guys have kind of like a top best-selling product, so to speak, or is there a group of ones that kind of trump the others?
As far as it's popular across the spectrum. Our beard oils, our beard balms, and now our beard butter are actually they're our core items. They're kind of what kept us on the map. They're the beard oil and the beard balm, are the first two products that we launched way back when. And it's our recipe. We came up with it. We designed it. So we've kept with those recipes the entire way. And I think that's what keeps us on the map. And I think that's what keeps our clients coming back, because they know we're not going to sell out to a cheaper carrier oil or this or that just to make more money. So I think those are our most popular products because they're our oldest.
Okay. Yeah, there's actually companies that do that. They'll source out of China, which is the most ridiculous thing. Like I wouldn't say it's terrible to get something from China, but you just don't want. I don't know. Our belief system is, if you can make it here, then you should. Mm-hmm. Especially with something you're putting on your skin. I mean, I want to know where everything came from and what's going into it. I couldn't ethically source just a bottle of beard oil out of China and resell it to somebody just because the profit's going to be higher. I mean, that's ridiculous. And we've actually, we know of companies that do this in our niche, and I know that's kind of a sad point to me,
Sure. Right.
And it obviously sounds like the business is backed by core beliefs that you guys have and core focuses. But do you guys have like a slogan or a mantra that all the efforts are kind of focused for, that the Mad Viking has kind of cultivated of your own brand for the customers?
Yeah, it kind of stemmed from just us being true to ourselves and who we are, and then the whole Viking theme kind of grabbed a hold of based off the name. So the 9 virtues is kind of always something that's present in the Viking, niche or the Viking culture or whatever. So we took those 9 virtues and kind of rewrote them just a little bit to align with us. But we call it the axe, and that's why our club chant, our motto is "Live by the axe." It represents our little rewrite of the 9 virtues that you'll find out there.
Awesome. And we heard about you guys ultimately through our mutual friend Brian Myers at MLH Distillery, who produces Forefathers Spirits. Told us that you guys will be releasing a Viking Blood Rye whiskey that will be distilled by the team at MLH and Forefathers. And is there anything more that you could tell us about that?
It's going to be
Awesome.
amazing rye whiskey. And, those guys over there at MLH and Forefathers, they do a fantastic job. Their belief systems are a lot like ours. That's why I think we get along so well. So the partnership was just kind of a natural thing where we're going to work together on some stuff. But as far as the whiskey itself, it's a really nice, smooth rye whiskey. It's not overpowering, but it's going to be branded with our logo and their whiskey. And I know that we're getting really close to launching it. It's going to take just a little bit of time yet.
A little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of that was kind of by chance. A lot of our business dealings in the past couple of years have been by chance and just based on where we're at the moment and what we're doing business wise. But it's a really cool story. We ran into those guys about a year and a half ago, and it's just about 8 to 10 of us from the club that went out one night, and one of the club guys ran into, he actually runs a food truck. He ran into Brian at an event, and, he told us that we should roll in there. So we went out one night with him and ran into MLH for a few drinks, and it turned out we were there for the whole night. Bought a barrel of whiskey that they made custom for us, and that was really cool. And they branded our logo onto the top and stuff like that. And,
Awesome. And are there any other kind of products or projects that you guys are kind of have in the works that people should be on the lookout for coming soon from Mad Viking?
The mead. Yeah, we got mead coming out as well.
Oh, nice.
We'll be able to ship the mead to about 40 different states across the United States. That's due out the end of October here, beginning in November. It'll have elderberry, lingonberry, like a hibiscus style mead. It's kind of got a dark blood, thicker consistency to it as well. And that will be called Blood Honey.
Awesome.
And then we also have just recently launched coffee as well, and we launched that under the brand name Brutality Coffee Company. So we custom roast and ship and sell coffee all over the state. So.
And where is the best place our listeners can go to kind of learn more about the products on all sides, the beer products as well as the coffee?
Yeah, you definitely want to hit up both of the websites. Mad Viking is madvikingbeards.com. And Brutality is brutality.coffee. But Brutality is spelled BREW-tality. So a little play on words there.
I like it. I like it a lot. Sweet. So I think we kind of covered off on all grounds there. We end every show the same way, where we kind of ask our visitors with some personal questions, give our audience a little look behind the curtain, so to speak. This is the first time we've ever done it with 2 guests. So both of you want to take a shot at answering one or the other, or however you see fit. But first question is, what was the first car that you ever owned?
I had a 71 Buick Grand Sport.
Nice.
It was my senior year. I was doing a demolition derby at the local fair, and after the derby was over, I got in my car, met my dad on the track, and there was a car dealership that had a bunch of new cars there, but they had this 71 Buick Grand Sport somebody just traded in. Perfect condition. Had the 455 motor, automatic on the floor, the airplane style shifter, whatever. And we picked that up for $4,500. Perfect shape. Clean engine bay, everything. I mean, I actually showed the car a few times. And those cars now are worth 50 to 60 grand. So I kind of wish I still had it, but yeah, not a bad first car to have.
Yeah.
as a senior in high school.
Mine was not so nice. It was a 1977 Oldsmobile Regency Delta 98 or whatever that was, something like that. Oldsmobile Regency 98, I think, is what it was.
There you go. Two pretty different experiences there. If you guys weren't leading the charge for Mad Viking, what do you think your profession would be?
Damn. Well, I couldn't decide when I was coming out of high school. I couldn't decide when I was coming out of the Army. I couldn't decide until we created Mad Viking. Like, I thought, hey, let's, I would say for myself, politics or being a teacher, one or the other.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I don't even know. I'd probably go back to touring, or I don't even want to think about what I'd be doing, honestly.
Yeah, that's scary.
Next.
This is so much fun. We ain't doing anything else.
So the next question I have for you guys, and obviously you've talked about how busy you are, so I'm not even sure what time you'd have, but what's one of your favorite hobbies to do outside of working, obviously?
Mine's either reading something that I can learn that will forward us in our business, and that's from like content creation to marketing or anything like that. The only thing I really take time out to do extra that doesn't pertain to our business would, maybe listen to a little bit of music or try to play a little bit of guitar. That's about it. Everything else is like driven forward by where we're heading with business myself.
Yeah, and I'm pretty similar too. The only other thing is, like I said, we have the charity clubs all over the world, and with all the time that we spend here, for us to get out and hang out with our friends like that in a club aspect and do all that charity work, that's probably the only time. That's my only quote unquote hobby that I have at the moment. It's just
the only time we take away from our business is to hang out with friends and do charity stuff.
Charity work.
Right.
And final question for you guys. Who's your favorite sports teams to root for?
I consider ourselves a sport. We root for ourselves. I just don't have time for any of that. We kind of grew up with the Pittsburgh Steelers and been to a few hockey games for the Pens. I follow Yankees baseball lately, but it's mostly just business here for us, right?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm a hometown guy, so when I do get to watch sports, it's all black and gold, everything. So, again, we don't have much time for it, but when I can, I like to enjoy the Steelers and the Penguins especially.
That's what we like to hear on this show. So glad you guys sided with the black and gold. Appreciate you guys taking the time again to join us today. Any final words that you want to put out there before we sign off?
No, I think just we really appreciate you having us on. It means a lot to us when people want to sit down and have a conversation and hear us out a little bit. So, other than just thank you, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Great. Yeah, appreciate that. And thank you all for tuning in today on the My BFF Business Leaders Podcast.